Hello and welcome to the Carifesta link up here on the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. You see, you could tell that I'm not from Barbados because I'm giving the full title. This is the daily show that tells you everything that you need to know as we count down to Carifesta 15 right here in beautiful, beautiful Barbados. I'm Josanne Leonard and this is Tisha Hines. So I'm Tisha Hines and this is Josanne Leonard. We decided we would switch identities.
Yeah, well, we absolutely will figure that out. Coming up, I'm really excited about this incredible celebration of our region's creativity. And over the next few days, we are taking you on a tour across the Caribbean.
Okay, so checking in with delegations, artists, cultural movers and shakers, cultural lovers, everyone who's bringing their energy, their artistry, their talent, and even those who are just basically booking their flights to come to Carifesta 15.
Book your flights.
Book your flights.
Book your flights.
Well, if they can get down.
So today we're heading to the vibrant shores of St. Martin. This tiny but mighty island is bringing some serious flavor to Barbados for Carifesta 15.
And we say we're bringing the flavor of St. Martin, and we're also bringing the flavor of Colombia and San Andres. So we're going to be meeting some folks here, a literature teacher from St. Martin who believes that storytelling is the soul of the Caribbean. We'll also meet a fashion designer whose work fuses tradition and innovation. And you'll be hearing from the boss lady, as we say, Clara Reyes, who's head of the St. Martin's Department of Culture, Tisha.
That's right. As you mentioned, we're also going to link up with Josadie Escalona, who is a part of the Colombian contingent coming to Bridgetown. She's a presenter, host, lawyer, TV host for Tele Islas TV station in San Andres, Colombia. And she joins us now live as they prepare to come to Barbados. Not on this occasion. She'll be here next week. So welcome, Josadie.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for this invitation.
It's so wonderful to see you, to have you here with us on the link up.
Okay, I'm happy also to be here with you all, sharing with you, and also greeting you in advantage before we arrive to Barbados on Monday.
You know, Josadie, let me jump in here. You know, what was really pretty exciting in talking to your colleague was, you know, finding out about San Andres, you know, one of the islands of Colombia, you know, because when we think about Colombia, we think about the big landmass in South America, and we don't think about the island chain, the archipelago of islands. So tell us a bit about San Andres and Providence, and so where you come from in San Andres.
Well, San Andres, Providence, and St. Kathleen is three brother islands that is located in the Caribbean that belong to Colombia, that is the mainland. So we in San Andres, we talk Creole, we make rondon, we cook with coconut milk and all these things. So our history is pretty much similar to the time of slavery, and well, we are black people who talk Creole. Also, we speak English because it's the language of our motherland. But yes, we are Caribbean, and we love to be part of the Carifesta for the people from Barbados to get to know about this island, and also for we to care Barbados to San Andres, Providence, and Catalina also.
I am laughing because you sound Caribbean. You love Caribbean. And I think the only time we really are kind of lumped together is when we have some major international agency talking about Latin America and the Caribbean. So it's really great that we're going to be able to connect to see the deep roots that we all have, and that truly is the theme for Carifesta 15. Talk to us about what your delegation will be bringing in more specific terms.
Well, our delegation from part of our channel, our regional channel, Tele Islas, the idea is to carry the knowledge that we have from the archipelago to Barbados, and also to get that connection spiritually, talking about when we go to the Baptist church, when we singing our hymns, when we are cooking with the coconut milk, when we are sitting with grandma, when we have like the artistic part also. It's just like to have that connection that the archipelago have and share also with Barbados. So it's to carry our knowledge that we have about our ancestors, our culture, our tradition in San Andres, share it with Barbados, see what similarities we have with Barbados, and also record that because we will be filming and carry that back or bring that back, sorry, to San Andres, Providence, Catalina, and also especially to Colombia. For the mainland also can see that they have this archipelago that belong to them, but also is part of the history of the Caribbean.
So Josedi, quickly before you leave us, because we know you're a very busy woman, tell us a little more about the film project, because you're doing something called Caribbean Links, and that's really kind of exciting. You've talked a bit about it, but what can we expect in terms of this film crew and what you'll be looking for? Because we're now talking as media compadres, yeah?
Yeah. Well, the film crew, and we also went to Trinidad and Tobago, we went to Belize, we have been to Roatan, Honduras, and also to Jamaica, also to Nicaragua, and into Panama. So the idea of Caribbean Links, as I said it before, is to have that connection, that link that we have that connect us as Caribbean people, not only talking Creole, but also to share the knowledge that we have, and also to look for what we have similar with you all, and also what is different that also we can apply, and saying this way, apply it to San Andres, Providence, and Catalina, because our island also are touristic, but it's like the way how to preserve our identity, how to preserve our tradition, our culture, and also how to protect it, but also how to share it. So this link in the Caribbean will continue be spreading. I want to mention and something special that happened when we went to Jamaica, and is that our ambassador from Colombia is in Jamaica, and they met like a special link with a filmmaker from Jamaica, and he went to San Andres because he get to know, oh wow, so we have like these similarities in San Andres, Colombia. We never thought about that, never. So the idea is to go to San Andres. So they went to San Andres also. They make like a documentary about we rice and people, we black people, Afro-descendant living in Colombia. And then he carried back to Jamaica, and that was something very special because also we carry the history from Jamaica to San Andres, and then a film group went to San Andres, make a documentary, and carry it back to Jamaica. So that is just like what we are doing with this wonderful project.
Oh, that's beautiful. I can see some Bajan similarities already. I can't wait. I'm so excited to find out more about your country and all that you'll be bringing here to Carifesta 15. Sounds truly exciting, and you make it sound like a place that I definitely want to visit. On this note, big up to the BTMI, the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., because they're working on all kinds of airlift to make traveling across Latin America and the Caribbean possible. Absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Josedi. You sound like me when I'm trying to put on a Trini accent.
we so look forward to seeing you, and of course meeting the film crew and the rest of it and the entire delegation. And I'm quite excited because I was in Cartagena years and years and years ago, and it was pretty amazing that
wow.
when going into
so different.
Yeah,
so
and going into
Cartagena is so different because
yeah, and
it's
going
the island vibe. It's the island vibe. It's
yeah,
the
because
it's also like you can go to San Andres and you can talk to normal like how we are getting a conversation right here.
Yeah, great. So we look forward to seeing you and the entire delegation, and of course the media collab as well, because we know all the content that we're creating here is going to be going back into San Andres. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yeah.
Thank you all for the invitation.
Absolutely, I love that. Wonderful connection.
Lovely.
Did you hear the accent?
Yeah, lovely. And I was told by Ambassador Commission that a number of the ambassadorial positions in the region right now, most of them, all three of them, are from San Andres. So it's pretty interesting. Well, okay, so we we've gone to Colombia, we've gone to San Andres, and Colombia, and there's so much more to get through. And we keep saying Carifesta isn't just a festival; it's living, it's breathing, it's exchanging the ideas, the artistry, the heritage, connecting with our Caribbean people wherever they are. And so we have the St. Martin delegation, and they're coming ready to make their mark. So let's hear it from the source. We caught up with Clara Reyes, who's been spearheading the St. Martin preparations.
In general, I am an artist myself. I am a founder of the National Institute of Arts as well as Imbali Center for Creative Movement, which were both interdisciplinary centers for art education and dissemination. However, when the hurricane hit us in 2017, everybody's life on St. Martin changed. And then I applied for the position of head of department, and I became head of the Department of Culture for the last 7 years. And my role is to promote, develop, and safeguard the St. Martin's heritage culture, both intangible and intangible culture. And in the last 7 years, we've been very heavily working on developing the culture creative industry of sector of St. Martin. So we produce all the national days, we create conferences about culture creative industry, we host forums, we host dialogues, we support funding agencies to really help develop the culture creative industry of St. Martin. And that's my role. And I'm coming to Carifesta as a civil servant and not as the creative person. The French side is a different political infrastructure, but we are very high on our traditions and our culture. We really celebrate them very strongly, both sides. We have a very good collaborative relationship with the collectivité. On the Dutch side of St. Martin, we are very strong in our traditions and our culture because we have our own prime ministers and our own governors, so we get to govern ourselves and tell our own stories. Indeed, there is some Dutch influences. However, St. Martin, because of its geographic location, we have always been very strongly oriented to the English language. And so the Dutch Caribbean islands are divided into Saba, Statia, and St. Martin, which are the three northern islands at the top of the Caribbean chain. And at the bottom of the Caribbean chain, you have Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And all of us have a very strong cultural background. Curacao and them, they speak Papiamento, they have strong traditional dances and storytelling, fantastic carnivals, both cultural carnival as well as, the commercial contemporary carnival. In St. Martin, we celebrate equal fervor, the same things. So we speak Dutch if we want to, but however, we have a very strong influence, and culture is very big in our islands, and we do a lot of collaborative efforts between French and Dutch. So we get to tell our story, and our department is very vociferously trying to create the dialogue about our story to be told. For me, Carifesta is a pinnacle of Caribbean excellence, and I love the fact that it was born in 1972. The birth of the idea, the birth of creating a platform where Caribbean excellence is celebrated, our voice, our stories, our intellect, our creative experiences, the history, and this whole archipelago called the Caribbean. What I like about ourselves is the fact that after the collision of Europe and Africa and the First Nations people came together, the Caribbean is a platform that allows you to reinvent yourself. It's an opportunity to create your own history, your own stories. Despite interruptions, the African continuum is very present in the Caribbean. And if you listen well, there are many traditions that you can connect to and celebrate. So coming to Carifesta is always a joy. It's a big anticipation for me. I look forward to this moment to be part of the Caribbean Village, to see what everybody is telling, what they're sharing, what are the new innovations in art forms, what are the discourses, what are the things that are challenging our community, and this opportunity to really build on what was dreamt about in 1972.
That, of course, was Clara Reyes giving us the inside scoop on what St. Martin is bringing to Barbados.
And it's so heartening. My heart is warm. I love how Clara just very calmly connects us, tells the story of the Caribbean. And this is exactly what Carifesta is all about. And actually, this is what the Caribbean should be all about 366 And what is it in a leap year? 365
Leap year
days.
is 366.
Okay, 366, 365 is 24/7. You know, that's what we should be about, Carifesta.
Now, when we come back, we'll meet a fashion designer whose work is turning heads and also telling cultural stories through her style. That's all next.
Barbados, Carifesta.
My name is Rochelle, also known as Faiza Tabasamu, and I'm representing the amazing island of St. Martin, and I'm excited to see you at Carifesta 2025. This is actually my first time at Carifesta, so I am just plumb excited about being a part of the delegation of St. Martin and also honored. I am a poet, writer / teacher. So I'm going to start with the teaching. I'm an educator. I teach high school. And I also introduce students to Caribbean literature, more or less. And when I say Caribbean literature, it's more of the like the godfathers of Caribbean literature, Earl Lovelace and Michael Anthony, those fellows. And it's been a pleasure to be able to dabble in literary works by our greats of greats. As a poet, I write. I recently published a collection of poetry called Tangle, and as you read, I write about womanhood, nostalgia, cultural history, and these types of things. I also have a company called Don't Break the Comb, so I do venture on into natural hair care and like the perception of natural hair and why is it that we like to hide our hair or wear more Eurocentric forms of beauty. We have a lot of events that occur during the year. We have book fair sessions throughout the year. A lot of writers, a lot of young writers, a lot of eager writers, a lot of people who write as a source of it's writing and poetry for me, I think on St. Martin is a part of life.
That is absolutely beautiful. And she's going to be here.
Yes, that was Faiza. She's a literature teacher, and as teacher says, she's going to be here, and her passion for the arts is really about inspiring a new generation of storytellers. She's also an author, so you can expect to see her works on display in the biggest Caribbean book fair at this year's Carifesta 15 Grand Market. It's fantabulous. We'll be showing you again and again the artist rendering of the venue at Waterford. But the way it's laid out, I think the authors, all of the disciplines, but there's actually going to be that display and that book fair, and it's just something to really look forward to.
It's beautiful. You have to see it. Go book your tickets. Now, our next link up is a creative force from St. Martin Fashion, and it's designer Zilla Duzon, whose bold, colorful designs are making waves all across the Caribbean. Her work blends Caribbean heritage and a modern twist. You want to think tropical color palettes and storytelling stitched together in every single seam. Now, when we met up with her, she couldn't contain her excitement about coming to Carifesta 15.
When the cultural department told me this year, hey, we want to take you along with us to go to Carifesta, I was ecstatic because I was like, I've always wanted to experience that. And I have a friend who is from Barbados, actually. Her father is from Barbados. And every year in high school, she would go on vacation to see her family in Barbados. And then she would tell me how it is. So I was like, one day I want to go there. So them saying, hey, you have the opportunity to go, I was excited. And then I started to look up and see all that is going to be presented at the Carifesta, and I was like, I am so looking forward to this. And one of the key things the goals that I want to achieve while I'm there is to make also connections with other artists, other designers, and see how we can collaborate. I personally am tired of having to search out like Asia or far countries to do my production. When people come to the Caribbean or when people come to St. Martin, they are always looking for authentic island-made pieces. So why not make sure that that is the majority of things that are to be purchased on the island or from me as a designer, you know? Even though
Yeah.
I'm not from Barbados, there might be a designer that makes beautiful bathing suits over there that can be at my store here in St. Martin, you know? So making those
Yes.
connections and contacts is very important for me as a goal when I attend Carifesta this year. So this year I created a whole new collection, but because I'm not sure if a lot of the English Caribbean countries have seen my work. I'm going to show a range of my last four collections in my segment for the fashion show. So you're going to be able to see the various prints and color combinations that I have used for the last 4 years in this specific showcase that I'm going to do this year.
That's pretty amazing.
Trust me, she was the first fashion designer from St. Martin to show at New York Fashion Week. So she's making waves not only here in the Caribbean, but indeed across the world.
Yeah, so this is what it is. Every garment a conversation, every garment a story. We're bringing this level of talent in one person to Carifesta. Is like bringing the whole island of St. Martin to Barbados. And that really applies to all of not just the islands, the countries in the Caribbean, because fashion is a big thing. We could just sit there and begin to imagine from what we've seen from past Carifestas and what we're seeing all during the year, the kind of pop and the color and the style and the sustainability. A lot of the designers are moving towards now looking at what are their inputs in terms of the fashion sector and also upcycling, and that's pretty exciting.
And speaking of upcycling and sustainability, I know the big conversations are going to be interesting pieces. We're also going to have some interesting convoys here on CBC as well. So listen out for that all across the region. And that's a snapshot. That's just a snapshot of the creative explosion we can expect from not only Colombia, but St. Martin as well. Now, because you love music, theater, food, fashion, literature, Caribbean culture at large, Carifesta 15 has something just for you. That's right. So, there's so much to see and do.
I know, my head is spinning. The thing becomes what do you go to? So there we go. Vintage Kaiso Super Concert. So you're going to have some big names there. Vintage Kaiso. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, and that's at the Richard Stout Amphitheater.
There's going to be the Caribbean to the World Super Concert as well. That is also going to be at our National Botanical Gardens. You definitely should check it out. We're giving you the ticket prices so that you have an idea of, what you need to travel with. The Reggae Super Concert is going to be a big one coming up on August 29th.
Well, I know the Bajans, like everybody else, loves their reggae. So we have Morgan Heritage, you have Warrior King, you have Tanya Stevens. And those are some of the big names, and people coming out of the other countries as well.
There's going to be Caribbean Jazz and World Beats Super Concert. And that is, if that doesn't express to you that there's something for everyone, what will?
Yeah.
I know this is close to your heart. Ailey is going to be here.
Oh God, let's see if we could get Marissa on tomorrow or maybe Friday. So Ailey too is on tour. So they're coming to do just 2 performances, and I heard this morning that the tickets are like almost sold out. So you need to go to the website and see what is left there, and then they go on to Trinidad after that. Yeah. So
all right. So we have some instructions for you in terms of what you need to do.
First, you download the festival schedule. So you go to the website, www.carifesta.net.
It's that simple.
It's as simple as that. You download the festival schedule, and trust me, there's so many events across so many venues. You're going to want to plan ahead to figure out, how am I going to get from point A to point B? It's like what we do in Trinidad with the pan crawl. How do you get ahead of the judges to the next pan yard?
Now, from the opening ceremony to the nightly music showcases, big conversations that we mentioned, to the film screenings, the literary readings, and super concerts, there's something grand happening for everyone.
And you said grand, so grande. So speaking of the grand, Carifesta 15 is taking over Bridgetown. Bridgetown is a heritage district. There's so much that's going on. And sometimes, as the old people would say, nearer the church, further from God. Sometimes we just like to, say all kinds of things, and there's so much is happening in this beautiful, beautiful city. And Bridgetown will be transformed with a little different twist to Carifesta in terms of the opening ceremony, with a fashion show and the Parade of Nations on the streets into the main venue, Queen's Park. Let's see what the people tell us that's going to happen, yeah?
Mark your calendars. On Friday, August 22nd, all roads lead to Queen's Park for the Carifesta 15 opening ceremony. It all kicks off at 4 p.m. with the vibrant Parade of Nations from Golden Square Freedom Park. Then the energy turns all the way up at 5 p.m. in Queen's Park. Over 300 still walkers, dancers, drummers, aerialists, a full theatrical production, and a live orchestra will transform the space into a cultural spectacle. Come out and experience live performances from Alison Hines, Mahalia, Mikey, Adrian Clark, Wesley Wallace, Nikita, and more. This is more than a show. It's a moment for the region. Admission is free. Don't miss it. Carifesta 15, Caribbean Roots, Global Excellence. On Friday, August 22nd, Queen's Park is the Carifesta 15 opening ceremony.
Caribbean people as our favorite price. Free.
Yeah. But I think it says something about when the host country takes on the responsibility of staging Carifesta, because we have to get out of this mindset that we know we have to pay for it. We know that it takes a lot of money to make these things happen. So you don't want to say that the host country is doing all of this. It's bringing all of this culture, all of these people, all of the artists, all of us to really kind of, lock hands and, really, really, really sisterhood and brotherhood.
Absolutely.
And you really want to come out and be a part of it. And, be prepared for the weather too, just in case, because we're in the rainy season.
Yeah, we're accustomed. Carifesta is about making connections, whether that's striking up a conversation in a workshop, dancing next to somebody at a concert, or just buying a handmade piece of jewelry that travels back home with you.
Well, it's the one time every 2 years that I wish would come every year, when the Caribbean becomes this one big creative family. And I'm just so happy that I'm alive to see Carifesta 15 in Barbados. The family, all of us, all of we is family. All of we is one family. Yeah, the family is meeting here in Barbados.
So make sure that you're here. Book your tickets. That's it for today's Carifesta Link Up. We'll be back tomorrow with another island spotlight and more stories from the people who make this festival the heartbeat of the Caribbean. Until then, keep your calendars marked for August 22nd to 30th, Carifesta 15, right here in Barbados.
Thank you, Josanne.
Thank you, Tisha.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Let's show our roots, Caribbean roots. Our roots, Caribbean roots. Let's show our roots, Caribbean roots. Roots, Caribbean roots. Carifesta, Barbados. Carifesta.